All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PWN monthly meeting. This is Thursday, July 18th, 2024, and welcome everyone. So this is our Level Up at Lunch meeting. It's held on the third Thursday of each month. And today we're excited because we've got the Super Tips Blitz, and our program director, Katarina, will introduce those speakers to us a little bit later. Now, so for those of you who are watching on the PWN YouTube channel, be sure and click like and subscribe. And I want to thank our July sponsor, Jennifer Chapman of Board and Brush in Monterey. Also, I'd like to thank Stephanie Shields, the CEO of Bookkeeping Central, for taking care of our PWN bookkeeping. So check your upcoming emails for the next Business Growth Mastermind. Now, this is a member-only benefit, and it happens each month on the second Wednesday. So mark your calendars, and as members, you will be getting emails about that throughout the month. Also, get registered for the August Level Up at Lunch, August 15th. Great networking, member showcases. And Katarina, do you know who our featured speaker will be on the 18th of August or 15th of August?
My friend, you know who our featured speaker is. You're our featured speaker
I just didn't think it was right to say it.
on August 18th. And
Thank you. I'm excited about that.
you're
So,
going to bring some massive value
oh,
to everybody, and it's going to be a very, very info-packed and uplifting session.
all right. Well, next we're going to get to our program. And Katarina, our programs chair, would you please take it away?
Yes, thank you so much, Julianne. I'm so excited. We have such a special program today. What we decided to do for the summer was to have a Super Tips Palooza, which is some three phenomenal speakers sharing some super tips and their insights and their great ideas back to back. And we have three amazing speakers today. Linda Laird Staszewski. Linda, did I say it right, my friend? I'm sorry. Okay. You know what? Super tip 101. I should have run that by you about 5 times before I try to introduce you, Linda. So my apologies. As Linda said, she has recent, and Linda's our first speaker. And then we're going to hear from Sandy, and then we're going to hear from Elisabeth. Linda is, her company is called Influence Her LLC. She's a creativity coach. She's a publisher. As many of you know, she's done some different books, including We Choose Joy and 20 Lives Ignited, which Thasia said that she is one of the authors, as well as some of the other PWN members are authors as well with Linda. Linda, we're going to turn it over to you.
I just put my timer on. Hello, I'm Linda Laird Staszewski, and thank you, Katarina, for bringing me here. I'm thrilled to be with all these great women, and I love that we're going to be talking about joy today because, as Katarina mentioned, one of my 2 anthology books is We Choose Joy, how 22 women went beyond healing to choose to live joyful lives. And these are women of courage because they delved into the deepest, darkest part of their lives and overcame severe trauma. They could have let it destroy them. They could have let it define them. They chose not to. They forged ahead, and they choose, even to this day, they choose joy daily. You don't just choose joy once in a lifetime. You do it daily because it's a purpose-driven life event that you must follow to be happy. And happiness is pursued, but joy is in your being. And it's just makes your life so much more happy. I personally always equate joy with gratitude. So I'm a most a person that's very thankful for things, even the Lord. If I'm feeling bad about things, I'll go outside and look at a flower. Driving, I'll look at the sky, I look at the trees. There's so much beauty, and I focus on positivity, on the positive. I don't let the negatives, and everybody has them, but I don't let them pull me under. So that is one thing, the biggest tip I can give to you about choosing joy. Make it a daily effort. and just focus on positivity. I also choose to surround myself, excuse me, with positive women, positive friends in my life, because they won't pull you down. They listen to you, and we're all of the like mindset. So I love that part of my life. And I just want to share too that joy is such a powerful force that transforms, excuse me, how we experience life and take control of our lives. And again, I stress the portion of taking control of your life, because it is a choice. One of our authors, this girl was 8 years old, and her father sexually abused her and her sister. When she was 14, he pimped her out for alcohol and booze. She woke up one day and there's noises in her bedroom, and she's going, I'm scared, I cannot sleep. She's a little girl. And the father came in, and there was always guns and fist fights in the house. And he comes in with his gun, looked at the wall, shot, out come blood pouring down on her bed. He said, now go to sleep. And he walked out. She took her bed and her blanket and pillow and went laid in a hallway where she could feel rats whizzing by her all night. Then her brothers got involved, along with their friends, of abusing her. And she felt like she was just alive to pleasure men. She had no self-worth, no self-value, certainly no joy in her life. And she got into a youth group that took her under their wing, and they taught her about that Jesus loved her regardless. And she just couldn't believe it. She said, he could love me that much with all that my life has been. And they said, yes. And this girl is now going to be a minister. She undergoes a myriad of health issues, but she is pure walking joy. She's like a little Mother Teresa. She gives and she loves. But this is what choosing joy can do to you. She could have just succumbed and went into drugs and alcohol and given up on life and just said no. But she felt, no, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to choose a joyous life. And she does it through servitude and helping others and being there for others. And she's just one of the most amazing humans I'm honored to know. And there's a myriad of stories like that in this book, in choosing joy. I mean, there's other people that their stepfather molested their children, others that had a marriage fall apart, miscarriage, others overcoming bulimia and anorexia. Again, their lives could just have been nothing, but they focused on, and they knew how good it feels to be in a joyous spirit, because it's part of your whole being, in your thoughts, in your actions, in who you are as a person, how you come across, how you reach out and help others. It's just part of you, and they wanted to just embrace that in their lives and make sure that they could share that with others, because that's what we're here for, is to help others, and others in turn help us. So that's true joy. And again, I go down the street and I see the beauty. I hear the ocean or the lake. I hear that, sit in front of a campfire, and it's just pure joy to me. I listen to contemporary Christian music, because that's what lifts me personally as a person. I love to worship, and it makes me feel joy all the more. So never let anything bad in your life determine who you are or what your choices will be. And always remember that joy is a key to unlocking the heart of happiness for you, and that in turn for others. And it's a journey, and we want to embrace the joy. And I want you to please empower yourself, because it all starts within you. So with that thought in mind, think when you're riding down the road, when you're thinking of others, when you're blue, when there's negativity around you. Now, you're going to choose to be joyous in your spirit, in your mind, in your well-being, in your whole persona. That's what it's all about. I'm a little bit early, but
That's fine. Linda, that's fabulous. Yay.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Choose joy.
Always choose joy. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Everybody, let's give a nice big hand to our friend Linda. Yay, yes, however you want to do it. Bing, bing, bing. Wonderful. Okay, good. Thank you. Our next speaker, Sandy. Sandy is a certified grief coach and educator, author of Crossing the Ocean of Grief, How to Save Yourself from the Depths of Despair After Losing Someone You Love. She is a widow and a bereaved daughter, and she offers her clients hope and grief support. She also helps them create a personal plan for healing as they rebuild their lives after loss. And Sandy's going to talk to us today about resilience.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, Katarina, and welcome, ladies. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to build resilience, which I call my personal life raft, to get me through difficult times so that I don't just survive, but actually thrive. And we can all build resilience. We're not born necessarily with it on board, but we can develop and build it over time. Life can be unpredictable. There will be ups and downs. There'll be seasons. There'll be big waves and there'll be flat oceans. We need to be prepared. And so I believe that having something in your life raft that can carry you when the choppy waters come is going to be a very good investment for yourself in your survival. So let's redefine or define resilience. It can be the quality of an individual to have the ability to bounce back from adversity, trauma, or setbacks. Another definition, it's not about avoiding, it's more about facing and then finding solutions. And a third one, resilient individuals are able to adapt, to learn, to grow stronger, and I'd like to say for longer, because we're living longer these days. So, how do you build resilience? You choose, like Linda said, you choose hope. You choose hope as your first action, because that will activate the resilient spirit within you. It's like the little flame in your heart that can, over time, become a big fire or a lighthouse out there for somebody else, but it will light your way. A second point is we practice mindful awareness. What's going on? What just happened? What do I have to do? What am I feeling? What's my next step? Fully present in the moment so that we can respond appropriately to the situation. Very important for us. We live in a busy life. Sometimes we're disconnected. We're not in the conversation. We're listening half-heartedly. If we're mindfully present and mindfully aware, we will pick up the clues we need to make the right decision for us. It's the opposite of blissfully ignorant, which is a nice state to be in, but not very useful if you want to be resilient. My third point is we have to master the power of the pause. We like to fix, we like to jump, we like to do, to take action. Pause, and then take action. And nobody says it better than Viktor Frankl. Between the stimulus and the response, there is the space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. If we don't pause, we might make the wrong decision. Not that that's the end of the world, because we can make another one. But if we want to be resilient, pause, reflect, go inside of ourselves, get the information we need to make the right decision. Number 4, we have to encourage ourselves to be brave enough to feel all our feelings, not just the positive, the good, the nice, the easy, but also the difficult, the hard, and the not so pleasant. They don't go away. They come back. Until we face them, they won't shrink. They won't give us the message we need. They won't help us to show us the way as to what's the next action that we need to take. Don't push the hard ones away. They have a message. That's all they have. You can let go. You can unhook once you get the message. We have to develop a growth mindset. So we're open to learning. We're open to getting feedback so that we can learn. And I call that feed forward because I can put it in my next piece. We're open to collaborate with others because we learn from one another. We are interdependent and independent sometimes. But we learn from one another, and we do better if we're in community. So we need to seek that support through an open growth mindset where we can learn from one another. We also have to have the wisdom to know when to quit and when to grit. If it's over and it's lost forever, whether it's a dream or a person, we mourn. When it's out of my control, I let it go. When it's in my control, I commit so that I can grit. And that takes me right into my next step, which is the willingness to commit to do whatever it takes to get to the goals that I'm looking for myself to have, or that needs to be done in the moment because it's the right thing to do, right? And that is something that we have to do on a daily basis, as in choosing joy. I have to commit on a daily basis to recommit. Number 8, I have to honor mind, body, spirit. I'm a whole being. I'm not just a mind. I'm not just a body. I'm not just a spirit. I'm all of those. So I have to build resilience in all those facets: mind, body, spirit, emotions. Sometimes we grow lopsided. We can rectify it if we're mindfully aware where we need to do a little bit of self-correcting. We can steer our boat in a different direction. So the whole body, feed it with what it needs to be energized so it can go the distance for you. The whole person. And then the last one I call embrace inspired living. That means I'm aligning my why with my core values as a person, which is different for all of us and will change over time. And I am aligning that through my heart chakra so that there's an emotional component aligned to my choices of my why, because that will take me as far as I want to go and beyond. If there's no feeling attached to our why, we might be discouraged and give up before we need to do that. So that is my 9 little points to stay resilient in tough times. Anybody wants anything else, wants some more information, feel free to contact me. And it was a joy and a pleasure to speak to you guys today. Or ladies, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you very much, everybody. Nice big hand for Sandy. And you fit a lot in there, my friend, in those 7 minutes. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, guess what? We have more excitement because we have another fabulous speaker, the amazing Elisabeth Stitt. Elisabeth Stitt is a longtime parenting coach. She's the founder of Joyful Parenting Coaching. She's a speaker, of course, a parenting coach. She gives parents the concrete skills they need to have harmonious homes. She is also a former middle school teacher, and she's the creator of the very popular middle school moms group on Facebook. And she's also a member of our leadership team here at PWN. And Elisabeth is going to be talking with us today about 3 steps to blissing more with your boundaries. Yay. Thank you, Elisabeth. Nice big hand for Elisabeth. Bing, bing, bing.
Well, I changed my mind. I'm not doing 3 steps for blissing with better boundaries. I'm going to give you one technique for how to bliss with better boundaries. What I say about parenting is that it is a skill that can be taught and learned and practiced. And I think one of the things that distinguishes me as a parenting coach is the way that I teach structures to parents so that they have a very clear and firm outline for how to enact in such a way that they do create that harmony in their homes. And one of my favorite structures, it actually comes from dialectical behavioral therapy, which is a really big name. But one of the things I love about it is that they focus on interpersonal effectiveness, concrete skills. Today, we're going to talk about the skill called Dear Man. And one of the reasons I love this one is because I think one of the differences between my first marriage and my second marriage is that I always try to keep that idea that my husband is a dear man and I want to treat him that way. So this is an acronym. I'm going to go through the letters first, and then we'll go back and we'll do an example. And Tracy, if you would be my scribe in the chat, that would be awesome. Okay, dear man, D. D is for describe the facts. What happened? E, express your emotions. Share what was the impact of those actions. Don't assume that people know. A, ask. Ask for what you want as a result of the action. R is reinforce or reward. And this is the idea that we want to connect the ask or the request to the positive outcome or the positive benefit for the person that we're talking to. M is mindfully stay focused. And I'll talk more about that and how to do that. A is appear confident when you communicate so that your affect is helping you to deliver your message in a calm and collected way. And then N is negotiate. We don't always get what we want. Doesn't always turn out exactly what we want, but we are going to work together with our dear man or our child or our colleague or somebody else to come up with a peaceful solution. Non-violent, non-arousing, so that everybody can stay calm and reactive. Okay, so let's go through an example. Describe. My dear man, the dishes were not done when I came into the kitchen this morning. E, express. That really frustrated me because I am so rushed in the mornings already and every second is precious. A, ask. If you're not going to get to the dishes before you go to bed, could you please let me know so that I can either choose to wash them or I can at least be ready for that when I walk into the kitchen? R, reinforce or reward. And this is really about, you might think, well, why are we rewarding somebody if they didn't do the dishes? We're upset with them, right? But what we're trying to do is to connect them to what's the positive outcome of taking the action, right? Doing the dishes is going to be, you know what? I so appreciate it when I come and the kitchen sink is clean in the mornings. It makes me feel less stressed and allows me to be more present for everybody in the family. Mindful is about staying present in the moment with what your goal is with your ask. Now, your speaker might be trying to get you off track, the person you're speaking to. They might be going like, well, I had this email that I had to get out last night. Or, you know, the news was so important. It was, you know, do you know what's happening in the politics today? It's getting me so upset, right? Trying to pull you away or get you off track in some way. You're going to just keep coming back to, could you please let me know if you're not going to get to the dishes? I will either choose to wash them myself or I'll leave myself more time in the morning. Right? We're just going to say it calmly and we're going to restate it. Almost like a broken record if necessary, if that's what we need to bring the conversation back on topic. Appear has to do with our affect, right? We want to appear confident. And I read somewhere that we say appear confident and not be confident because maybe this is a moment where we are faking it until we make it. And how do we do it? We are tall. As Katerina would say, the girls are up. Our voice is calm, right? It's not effective to say, would you please let me know? That kills it right there. And then finally, N is for negotiate. What offer could you make to shift this dynamic. It might be saying like, I wonder if there's another time that you could do the dishes to make sure that they are going to be washed for the morning. Or I wonder if maybe you would rather take on the cooking and I would be 100% responsible for making sure that everything's cleaned up. That way I wouldn't be stressed in the morning. Notice that when I am making suggestions for negotiating, I'm putting in what I call language softeners, right? I wonder if maybe, is it possible that? So I'm not saying, look, what you need to do is, but I'm giving it some flexibility and I'm inviting, go use your dear man.
Thank you. I love that, Elizabeth. Dear man, I'm gonna write that down and okay, I'm gonna ask a quick question. Okay, so Linda, you mentioned how you make sure you're choosing joy. And I know you did this book with all these different gals on choosing joy. And what are one or two other things that you would recommend, like a super tip for choosing joy, or something that you could do to create joy?
You could do that. You could stop if you're in chaos or in a negative situation and just breathe. Breathe in to gain control over where you are, what you are, and hold fast to your choice of choosing not to let them pull you in, that you're going to be in a joyous mode. That's one. The second would be, again, when you're really upset, maybe you're listening to politics or something, whatever it could be, but you just want to get out of that and get back to the peace and joy that you feel in your body. You want to bring it back in. So you're going to focus on, like I said, even looking at something pretty that's, I'm a spiritual person. So I go, thank you, God, for this, the beautiful beautiful lake I'm looking at, whatever. And it just like calms me down and brings me back to that inner peace and feeling of joy and feeling gratitude. I think the two go so hand in hand, with gratitude and joy and resilience. Also, it all ties in so beautifully.
Thank you. Sandy, you shared 9 different ways, but they came really fast, or not necessarily really fast, but they were nice. Your pace was actually outstanding, but a little too fast for me to put them all in here. Do you want to mention a couple of the ones that you find are the most effective, and also maybe after you could put them in the chat so everyone could capture them?
Okay, so thank you, and thanks for the feed forward. I thought I had 10 minutes, and then I saw I had 7. I knew I was going to have to do a speed walk. Luckily, I can do that. And so adaptability, right? Change it on the hoof. So I would say for me, it is definitely awareness. Everything starts with mindful awareness. We cannot change anything. We can't take charge of anything if we're not mindfully aware of what we need to do. So for that, we have to, there are practices for that, mindfulness practices, yoga, all kinds of tools, journaling that we can use with that. We have to manage the power of the pause. As much as we need to take action, we need to take right action, because otherwise we're going to have to redo and undo and do again. And that's not moving forward. That's kind of circling and staying in a circle. So that one is really important for me. And the hardest thing in resilience is not the physical and the mental, it's the emotional. So that's something that we don't learn often enough, early enough, young enough. Thank you, Elisabeth, for what you're doing, because we can actually start training our children to be a little bit more resilient emotionally as well. But it's a skill set that we need to work on. So that's probably the one that I would pay the most attention to, because that's the one that hooks us away from our goals.
Great advice. Thank you, Sandy. Elisabeth, you are so, because we're friends, I think you are a very good communicator. Sometimes when we have things that come up with with situations around boundaries, we're emotionally charged, and it's hard to do it without blaming, shaming, making somebody wrong, like, what did you do that for? Or this type of thing that I'd like to say I'm exaggerating, but not necessarily. How do we get in the space to do this in a way that it's do the dear man in a way that comes across so the other person will be receptive?
Because we get emotionally triggered is one of the reasons I love structures, because structures allow us to practice it ahead of time and allow us to, and I'm okay with conflict with other people, but I do hate being in conflict with my dear man. And so it's, just having that going through it, I would even come to the conversation with, a sticky that says dear man on it that just reminds me, hey, I'm going to describe it. I'm going to say how I feel. I'm going to make an ask. I'm going to reinforce the ask with what's the benefit or the reason for it. And know that that's all I have to do. Like, I don't have to solve everything right at that moment. And really, if you take the dear part, that's all the expressive part, right? That's the communicating. And if you just do that part, then one of my other tips is, we don't have to solve this right now. We don't have to talk about this right now, but if you'd give it some thought. And then you can, because and this is so true with our kids, like, we don't have to give the whole lecture. We don't have to make everything right now. We can come back to it later.
Everybody, another big hand for our panelists. Thank you so much, Sandy and Elisabeth and Linda. You've given us many things to think about and many great super tips to take away from today. Julianne, I'm turning it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Katerina. And thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh. That was a lot of fun. It's fun having these little bite-sized pieces of information. It's great. I took notes. I always take notes, but I took more notes. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have for today. I am going to stop the recording.